Okay, now it's time to create our URL class. Inside of the classes folder, let's create a new file and call it url.php. Inside of this file, we start with the opening PHP tag, and then we type class URL opening and closing curly brace. Now we start with the first parameter, public. This time is going to be a static one. I'll explain what static does in just a second. The name of the parameter will be _page, and the value will be simply page. This is going to be our keyword for identifying what page should be loaded through the URL. Next one will be public static folder equals, and if we open our inc file, open our config.php, you may remember that we've created already the constant which stores the name of the pages folder. So if we copy the name of the constant and assign this constant to our static parameter called _folder. Another one, public static _params, and this is going to be an empty array for the time being. Okay, now static. What static allows us to do is to access specific elements within a class directly without instantiating a class. How it works, if we look at our index.php function, you can see that we first created the variable and assigned the instance of the new class called core. Then to run the method inside of this class, we use this instance and we call this method this way. Now with the static parameters and methods, you can do it in the following way, using the name of the class, which is URL in this case, 2 colons, and then name of the parameter, it has to be obviously public parameter, all name of the method. So if we call this first one static page, for instance, if we go back to our index.php, only one thing to remember is that with the static parameters, you have to use $, as opposite to the ones we've been creating with the standard instantiated classes. So page, there we go. If we echo this this parameter, if we go back to our browser, refresh, you can see the page has been displayed here. If we go back, now let's remove this. Obviously, as I said, it works exactly the same if we create static methods. So if we create public static method, which is function obviously, get param, and if we simply echo one of the static parameters within this method, let's say return self. The keyword self is used for static parameters. For standard parameters, we use this and our arrow. For static ones, as I said, we're using self and 2 colons, and then again $page. If we use this method now inside of the index page, we're obviously echoing this as well. If we go back, the result is still the same. So this is the difference between classes which need instantiation and the static static methods and parameters inside of the classes. So if you remove this, we remove this return self page. Let's move to the next video where we actually build in our getParam method inside of the URL class.